if you tell someone that we are flying aircraft without engines, actually gliding, that he'll find it very strange. And at that speed, जहाज छूटने में पता भी नहीं चलेगा आपको। एक बड़ा सा धमाका होगा। मैं आपके व्यूअर्स को डराना नहीं चाहता, बट रफाल में रेडार के ऐसे मोड्स हैं जिससे कि रेडार टेरेन को फॉलो करता है।
ओके
तो वो आने वाली टेरेन को पिकअप कर लेता है और जहाज को ऑटोमेटिकली पिकअप करके क्लियर करवा देता है उससे, ताकि आप you will not go into an obstruction. Imagine you're just 100 meters above the ground. 100 से 150 मीटर above the ground आप उड़ रहे हो at 15 kilometers a minute. Okay, so things are just going past like a blur. आपको सामने दिख रहा है, लेफ्ट राइट देखोगे तो बहुत तेज जा रही है साइड से। टर्मिनेटर करके मूवी आर्नोल्ड श्वार्ज़नेगर, राइज ऑफ द मशीन्स, तो he says the Skynet is now aware. So when that time comes, when the network and the machine is aware, NDA is just one means to join Air Force as a pilot.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, which is after 12. But other than that, you have that Combined Defense Services exam.
Jai Hind everyone. So welcome back to the new episode of Offstream Talks. Today we have another very interesting person. He is Wing Commander Amit Sathe. He is a fighter pilot from the Indian Air Force and also has a very unique background. So he may be one of the 1 or 2 pilots, or maybe 3, I don't know, but very few who have first flown the helicopters and then converted into fighters. He has flown the attack helicopters. He was in Sukhoi 30, and after completing almost like 22 years of service in the Indian Air Force, he is now flying for Air India. And again, he's making us all comfortable and flying us safe and landing us safe in and around India and also globally. So welcome, Amit.
Thank you, Ranjul.
और कैसा है? How are you? All good?
I'm good. Ranjul, thanks for the good words. And I think our friendship and our acquaintance goes back to last century, I can say, end of the last century.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I don't want to appear too, old, but then it does goes back to the late 90s
Yeah.
when we first met at NDA.
Yeah.
And I'm doing good. As of now, I'm sitting in Bahrain. Oh, we are just 2.5 hours ahead. I'm sorry, India is 2.5 hours ahead. So
Okay.
Bahrain is 2.5 hours behind India.
Okay.
So that's it. So it's afternoon still.
Afternoon. So how do you fly? Like where? Like from Bombay? Your base is Bombay, right?
Yeah, my base is Bombay, and I fly wherever they tell me. I'm a mercenary pilot.
Okay, so
So
Bahrain.
I fly wherever my roster tells me.
Okay.
I go there. Basically, wherever Air India operations are there, we fly to all those places. Primarily Air India Express, up to 2 years back before the Tata merger,
Yeah.
was purely an international flying low-cost carrier
Okay.
to Middle East and to Southeast Asia,
Okay.
particularly Singapore. And that's how it was. But now with the merger, there are 4 companies which have come in together. You must have heard it in the media. 2 of them were Vistara and Air India, erstwhile Air India. They have merged together to become Air India. There's no Vistara now. And similarly, there was an airline called Air Asia, and there was an airline called Air India Express, in which I'm there. They have again merged to become only Air India Express. So there's no Air Asia now. So we remain the low cost carrier, Air India Express, merger of the two. And Vistara Air India merger is a full service carrier, which is now called only Air India. So there's Air India and Air India Express.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So how is it different from flying fighters to transports? And like, you know what Goose said, no? Flying, there is a dialogue, famous dialogue in Top Gun.
Yeah, cargo plane full of rubbish dog shit out of Hong Kong. No. See, there is a melodrama in the movie, of course, because they want to sell fighter flying.
Yeah.
But having been on all sides of aviation, God gave me the opportunity that I started from Ardhra glider. I think ours was the last course which flew Ardhra glider. That was a wooden glider launched by a winch rotating a drum and pulling the aircraft on the ground so that it can gain some speed. And with that speed, we used to get launched into the air without any engines. I mean, today, if you tell someone that we are flying aircraft without engines, actually gliding, he'll find it very strange. But that's how we did it. And it was a 3 to 4 minute flight maximum on the outer side, sometimes even as low as 2.5 to 3 minutes. But we did those 36 launches on a wooden glider and then went on to fly all kinds of helicopters, single engine, twin engine. And then all kinds of fighters, single engine, twin engine, and a trainer on Hawk. Also was part of the Surya Kiran aerobatic team. And finally, only thing left in aviation. Yeah, I was from the SCAT. And only thing remaining was transports. So anything that flies, I think I've flown. So now only what is left is probably, it's part of transport like private jets and wide body aircraft. Otherwise, I've flown anything that flies till now.
Or
I've
maybe
flown 14
over the
different.
seaplanes or something.
No, I've done that. Over the sea, I've flown in a Su-30 or in MiG-21s also.
Okay.
Terrain, I've flown all kinds of terrain. I have landed or at least made approaches on all airfields of Indian Air Force. Okay, whether it was in helicopters, helipads, or definitely fixed wing, I've definitely done. I can't say about all helipads because the only sector I didn't fly in a helicopter was high altitude because of my tenure in Mi-8s, which were primarily at lower altitudes, and attack helicopters as well, whose service ceiling was itself 4 kilometers. So that was in the plains. Otherwise, as far as flying is concerned, any aircraft I've flown in all. I've landed from Leh to down south Thanjavur and maybe easternmost Kumbhgram to westernmost Nalia, which is all these places I have been in between, numerous places. Now I'm going abroad.
Nice.
Since now I am a transportier now, as they call it.
Absolutely. That's really nice. Yeah. I remember the Ardra, right? Ardra gliders.
Yeah,
But
Ardra gliders.
I have not flown those in NDA.
Yeah. With your course, they started with the powered gliders.
Super Dimona.
Super
Dimona. And I remember all those, like few people picking it up and again getting it back to the takeoff zone. All the six towers, they used to do that. I still remember that scene.
It was that is the part, that is the top secret part that we never told anyone, that it was very painful. Otherwise, our army and naval counterparts always used to feel, wow, you're going for gliding. Flyboy is going for gliding. They didn't know that after the aircraft landed, it had only a single wheel in the center. And it had huge wingspan. So because of which it could hold its wings level at very ridiculously low speeds. I mean, maybe even up to fast walking pace, close to fast walking pace. And then when the lift was over, the wing used to drop. One of the wing used to drop. So now every time the wing drops, the airframe will have small amount of, pressure on it. Now our instructors wanted that the aircraft should last for more time. So they used to tell, when we land, you please chase it running. So we used to run with the aircraft till the time it used to just lose lift and then hold one of the wings, whichever side. If the wing dropped, it was here to roll. You had to do front rolling. So the wing had to remain in the air by manual intervention, by holding it just before it drops. So we used to first anticipate कि ये कहाँ touchdown होने वाला है, किधर touchdown होगा, तो वो touchdown से कितना run होगा, and somewhere there we used to position. The moment it landed, it was like catching a running train. You start running full speed and catch it. So some of the instructors used to land at all odd places and then we used to be rolling. I like to find some, I don't know whether there is some video or some photographs for the audience to understand it, get the perspective of what the Ardra was all about. Basically it was made of wood with some cloth. The cloth which was stretched onto the wooden frame, and that wooden frame was painted with a silver paint. So from far off it will appear like a metal sheet, but it was actually it was cloth, canvas kind of a cloth, hard cloth with paint on top. And the beauty of that aircraft was that it had very large wing. So because of the very large wing, it used to produce a lot of lift. And close to ground, it used to go under some what you call as a ground effect. Because the wings were so long, it would glide. So you could come like, at 1 or 2 feet, maybe 2 feet above the ground. For longer time. Keep gliding across the entire glider dome. It could do that. So it actually required air brakes to be taken out for it to land. Otherwise, it just wouldn't land. Understood. And obviously, being a non-engine aircraft, every instructor or pilot will never stretch the glide beyond a certain limit. He will always keep something in his own pocket, the height. So they used to come with a fairly high speed, close to the ground for landing, and then they used to keep stretching the glide close to the ground so that whenever the energy bleeds off, you just touch down. So it was very different kind of flying. I want to say it is like hardly how much time is the airborne time? Like I said, airborne time is about 3 minutes. Like learning about attitude and takeoff and all those. Nothing. So it used to be like, okay, I'll tell you how it used to work out. Once you got into the aircraft,
Yeah.
you used to do at least 5 to 6 launches.
Okay.
So that means you're launched, you go in the air, do a circuit. If you get some thermals are hot air things generated due to heat of the earth or winds.
Okay.
If you get those thermals, as thermal as the name suggests, it is due to hot air mainly.
Okay.
So it takes the aircraft up. So once it takes you identify there were two instruments, okay, which were basically pressure gauges under each wing.
Okay.
And they used to go up or down on either side. But they used to go up whenever the pressure from below the wing used to be adequate. So we used to pick up the thermal.
Okay.
If you find the thermal on one side, then the instructor will start orbiting in that direction.
Okay.
Catch the thermal, keep going up with the thermal like that.
Oh, achha, it would go up also. Achha.
Yeah, so you go up with the thermal. And अगर कुछ नहीं मिलता, तो you just keep gliding down from the time you take off. It was insane glide ratio, insane, and nothing that I've ever seen in a fixed wing. So since you have not flown that, you'll not be difficult to imagine. But it'll refuse to come down. It'll just keep gliding. It'll just lose. Like we always say in aviation, glide ratio is basically the amount of distance covered on the ground for the height lost. Okay. So if the height loss is too less and the distance covered is too high, then the glide efficiency is very good. Very good. So whatever height it used to gain first time, it used to trade it off for a lot of distance covered. Because of which you could do a full circuit and even forget the thermals. Even if you don't get the thermal, it should be about 3 minute flight. But if you get the thermals, it could be anywhere to 5, 6, 7 minutes also in the air. It's like a balloon, like a patang.
Okay.
आपको मिल गया wind मिल गया अब आप पकड़ के उसको.
So yeah, means like that is the progression in the Air Force from Ardhra or Super Dimona, which is so slow. Then gradually into like the HPT, that is the second phase. Then Kiran. Kiran is like a jet trainer. Then getting into MiG-21s and then finally.
Yeah, I stopped at Kiran because I shifted to helicopters after Kiran.
Okay. Kiran or Ishkara was also there. Our time Ishkara was not there.
Ishkara and Kirans were there in the applied phase. That means phase after 1 year of flying. That is first 6 months was HPT 32, which was a piston engine aircraft. And then it was HJT 16 or Kiran as it was indigenously called. So these two, and that was Kiran Mark 1. That was a lesser powered Kiran. So these two were the aircraft which we flew till our course. Okay, to earn our wings. Every pilot had to fly these two. From next course onwards, it became that after HPT 32 itself, they started trifurcating.
That is from our course,
So we flew, the entire course flew Kirans also. HPT 32 and Kiran Mark 1. Okay. Only thing, we flew at two places. Some of us flew at Air Force Academy, and the rest of us, majority, flew at Air Force Station Bidar, which is about 120 kilometers from Hyderabad, another Air Force station, which is also home to Surya Kirans, where I was posted much later, many years later.
Yeah, even me, I was in Bidar, then Kiran Mark 1 in Bidar, Mark 2 again in Hakimpet, and then after MiG-21s.
Correct.
So anyway, really nice to know all these things. I'm sure a lot of our audience who know a little bit of flying will find this interesting, how things go around. Yeah, but one more thing, before we went into the flying side, I was from a remote town in the Northeast where we hardly knew about NDA and we hardly knew about Air Force and all that. There used to be that Air Force station, Chabua, and they used to conduct some kind of fairs in a ground. It's called a Chokiningi field in our place. And from where I learned, okay, this is something known as Air Force pilots. First time I saw what a pilot is all about. So, what I learned when I saw a pilot or when you see some people, okay, in front of you, then your dreams, you want to join NDA or you want to join all these things, it gives you a certain amount of confidence. Through my channel, I want to see at least if I can make people like you, make my viewers meet people like you, I'm sure they will find that kind of confidence in their ability to join the National Defense Academy and of course becoming a pilot in the Indian Air Force. So I wanted to ask you, what is your background? Are you from a very normal background or you already knew about Air Force from your childhood?
Okay. First of all, before I start on my journey and how I knew, I just like to put one small clarification on what you said. NDA is just one means to join Air Force as a pilot.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, which is after 12th. But other than that, you have that Combined Defense Services exam. So in case some of your viewers are unable to meet the criteria or already gone past their 12th standard and age-wise they are no longer in the qualification group to become an NDA cadet, then they do not lose hope as long as they can appear for the CDS Combined Defense Services exam, which is after graduation, for which you have to have BSc with maths and physics, mandatory. And there's another way now, which was not there when we were in that age group, which is an exam called AFCAT.
Okay.
So AFCAT is Short Service Commission, which is after graduation. So you give the AFCAT and you can join as a Short Service Commission pilot for 14 years. And they are given all opportunities, including becoming an instructor. And can fly fighter planes, and they can do anything that any permanent commission guys can do, other than a few select courses which come later in your seniority, obviously, because you would be leaving the Air Force after 14 years. So those courses like staff college you don't do, but otherwise flying courses you do all. So you can join by AFCAT, and in fact, some of the AFCAT short service commission guys, in case the vacancies exist, are also offered permanent commission. So they can become permanently absorbed officers after, when their window comes with the years of service in the Air Force, where they can join and become PC. So don't lose heart. In case you don't make it for NDA, no problem. You can try for CDS or AFCAT. CDS is permanent commission, AFCAT is short service. You get the ads in all major dailies, or you can log on to, or you can Google for the AFCAT exam. AFCAT is AFCAT. Okay, now coming to your question. For me, I was from a totally civilian background. Nobody in my family, at least two generations I know, who's anybody is in government service. Forget, I belong to Pune and Mumbai. So all commercial people, all people who are MBA engineers and big corporate houses. So we were from a middle class to upper middle class family, and there was no scope of knowing much about any government job. Forget armed forces or Air Force. But however, before I go any further, my father was very keen to join the Air Force. And in fact, he had appeared for his NDA SSB also, but in which he unfortunately did not clear it. But he had that inclination. So from very young age, I stayed in Delhi, and in Delhi we used to see the Republic Day parade.
Okay.
So in the Republic Day parade, he used to always point out to certain class of people. He had a lot of reverence for the armed forces. So he used to tell me, this is Punjab regiment, this is so and so regiment, for which I understood. And then whenever the paratroopers used to come in, he used to tell me, these are special people. They wear maroon beret, and they are people who are cut above the rest. So, and then whenever there was a fighter display, he used to tell the fighter pilots are again a class of people who are specially selected, who got good responses, and they are highly trained, and a lot of money is spent in training. So I was attracted to these two things because my father always used to, praise them a shade above the others. So that was one. Second was, every 26 January, when it used to get over, the tanks used to be parked over there. So we used to go in the evening, being a kid in Delhi, not staying very far away from India Gate. We used to go over there on my father's Rajdoot motorcycle, and I used to climb on top of those tanks, and he used to click a photo, and I used to feel very good after climbing those machines. They used to look like beasts, big beasts. And so that is where my attraction started. And then finally, in my 8th standard, I visited Air Force Museum at Palan.
Okay.
That was a life-changing event because I saw so many aircraft. And, I met one of the pilots over there, and he explained to me, he was a transport pilot. He was posted at Palam then, that era, somewhere in the late 80s, about I think 87, 88. And he explained to me the various aircraft, what all it is, and I saw a big statue of Nirmaljeet Singh Sekhon over there, and I read about his valor, what all he did in the 71 war, what earned him the first Paramveer Chakra of Indian Air Force.
Okay.
And I was really inspired that I linked it to what my father had told, that these are special people. So I really thought that I need to be a fighter pilot. And that led to a journey where I started reading Commando comics. So there was no internet in that era. So Commando comics led me to reading about what of battles, air battles also, which took place. And I made up my mind that either I have to be a para commando or I have to be a fighter pilot. And of course, if I don't mention this movie, then I think I'm doing injustice. I saw the movie Top Gun.
Oh, which
Okay.
class? Which class? Just
Oh,
one minute.
I was in I think 8th or 9th. I saw it pretty late. It got released in 1986, but I saw it on 92 first.
Okay. Okay.
And I saw it in a theater, by the way. I didn't see it on a video. So I saw it in a theater, and I was really impressed with those noise and all those fancy bikes. and those dialogues
Yeah.
and the aerobatic stunts which I saw, which I was really really impressed. And then the para commando thing I think settled down a bit, a little bit, and this started gaining more
Yeah,
traction.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so Rajdoot, I remember from Rajdoot also, like, yeah, Jandar Sawari, Shandar Sawari.
Yeah, Jandar Sawari,
From
Dharmendra in the yeah.
yeah. I remember that. And of course, like Para Commando, I recently had a podcast with our own squadron type, Kaushal Kashyap.
Yeah, Kaushal, yeah,
Yeah,
very, 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 very talented guy.
the 21 SF. So Air Force became first, then it led to basically NDA, right? For you.
Yeah,
For you.
yeah.
Okay.
But then you know what? When I spoke to people, it became like okay, it's not right to say it on a podcast, but I'll still say it that I always believe, and I think many of us do, that India is the purest breed because you join at the age of 17 or 18
Yeah.
when you're really young and you just come out of your school and you join this academy which really transforms you. You train the longest, 3 years at NDA, followed by 1 year at Air Force Academy or Bidar, wherever before you get commissioned. While, as they say in ex-NDA say it, I'm very sure the others don't say it, but then it's become like a Fauji lingo. The people who join through CDS are called Dhakkas. Okay. And there is no name for ex-NDAs because they are the purest. They are supposed to be there. And the rest are Dhakkas and who come through the OTA or short service coming, they're Jhatkas.
I know that. Yeah.
Okay. So Dhakkas and Jhatkas and
And
at times the
Tijkas.
Dhakkas call themselves also Dhakkas. Yeah. Tijkas are the technical entry.
When I joined an NDA, I knew it was tough training and you'll have to run around and do a lot of exercises, play sports. But the expectation versus reality was totally different. So, what was your experience on that?
So as I told you before when we spoke that being from a civilian background, I had no clue. And you want me to speak in English or Hindi?
Whatever,
Was
we
it
are like English.
English? Okay, fine. So I had no clue कि क्या होने वाला है वहाँ पे. But I had a couple of friends who gave me some kind of a vague information. आज की तारीख में ये podcast है, YouTube पे videos हैं, and a lot of information is there. उस समय कुछ नहीं था. So I saw the movie, एक परमवीर चक्र करके movie आई थी 96 95 में maybe around that time, which are a tale of three people, Army, Navy, Air Force, who joined NDA and then became officers over there. That movie was not too successful, probably, but I went and saw it because I was interested in the subject. I wanted to know what happens at NDA, but I was not aware much. And in fact, you'll be surprised. There's one more movie called Vijeta, which was very famous, old movie, which brought out. In fact, that movie Vijeta brings out quite a good view of what official NDA is all about. Of course, when we joined, we realized that there are two versions to the academy, and one is the official, and one is the what happens at the cadet level. Interactions with the cadet. So what I did was, you'll be very surprised, being an ex-NDA, to know that my joining date was somewhere around, I think, 2nd or 3rd of January. And this is 1997, 2nd or 3rd of January 1997. And I, in fact, called up the adjutant and the number given in the call letter that can I join about 10 days earlier.
10 days earlier, okay.
Yeah, a decision which I regretted for a very, very long time, considering the fact that every day spent in Liberty much later was cherished and loved so much. But okay, as I look back, it was an innocent decision. I joined.
You are so motivated to join Acha before that. Okay.
I called up. I was so motivated. I wanted to join earlier. In fact, if I tell you how I joined NDA, that is also a very, very interesting story because that makes up that it's all written here, and your attitude and your what do you call approach and your tenacity. But that's for later. I joined earlier, and once I joined NDA, I realized within a few days that this academy is, as I said, the official academy is run by the institution in terms of the officers who we call as the directing staff, DS. They have different names as per what position they tenet, whether they are DVOs, which are divisional officers, or they could be squadron commanders, or they could be battalion commanders, depending on what are they head of. But the real academy where a learning of a different kind takes place is one which is run by the cadets themselves. So the cadets run the academy themselves. The actual NDA. So I call NDA as an MBA school. Management. You join NDA as a worker and gradually rise through the ranks to become a senior supervisor, then a senior supervisor, then a floor probably manager, and from floor manager you become the AVP, assistant vice president as a fourth termer, to there as a vice president, and then you are in the management by the time you become sixth termer. So that is how you learn at every step. What you expect from your juniors is what you have to become. I mean, in the sense, when you become the flow manager, you expect your workers to behave well. When you become the AVP, you realize the flow managers have to do well. So you at every step you learn. पिछले बार मुझे क्या करना चाहिए था अच्छा as you go move forward. And I think those are the lessons at every step that you take. And by the time you graduate, you are like the chief. Okay, so you learn it every step, and then that is one part. Second part is that, like you brought out, that people from all over the country join over there. So they come from all kinds of backgrounds. For example, financial backgrounds, cultural backgrounds. Somebody could be from Northeast, somebody could be from upmarket areas like Mumbai, like I was there, who have
You're
a
from Mumbai or
fancy.
Delhi? Mumbai
Oh
or
yeah.
Pune?
Well, I had my
Yeah,
education in Delhi for
yeah,
10 years,
yeah,
till 10th, not 10 years, 16 years,
yeah,
till 10th. And yeah, to 10 plus 2, I did it from Mumbai. And then 6 months, I was in an engineering college in Pune. So whether it is from an upmarket place like Mumbai or Delhi, maybe, to a person who comes from Dibrugarh like you,
yeah.
to a person who comes from, say, JNK, like we had our Bhatt, you come from various parts of the country and from various cultural backgrounds, various economic backgrounds, and various schools. Schools have a lot of what you call background in NDA. For example, there are people from Sainik schools, there are people from military schools, there are people from the elite RIMC, that is Rashtriya Indian Military College, okay, or Royal Indian Military College as it was known under the British. So these are the schools, and then there are people who come from public schools like me.
Yeah, yeah,
There are
yeah.
people who come from Navodaya Vidyalayas, government aided municipal schools, all kinds of people are there. So one of the major tasks cut out for them is to get everybody to the same level. So how do you get that is to first break down the guy. So you break down all his habits and everything to a standardized pattern. So one can, say it like it's like a prison, but prison is a negative word to use. But definitely it brings you all to the same level. That's one. And your all personal habits. For example, when you come to the first term and you report, somebody has a habit of raising an eyebrow. Somebody has a habit of tilting his neck. So a lot of gestures that you tend to do, like a lot of civil people do, whether they are pointing out in a direction like this is, sir, I got a thing from there. Sir, I came here. I was over here. All these things are not permitted in the Fauj. So you are taught to stand in Savdhan or Vishram. There are only two positions. And there is no raising your eyebrows or, pointing. Sir, I came from there, sir. So he's standing over. There's no doing this. You just look at someone and you tell him in words whatever you want to tell him. If you
You
want
have
to
to
tell
shake
him,
your head and tell yes.
yeah, so you have to. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. There's no mannerisms, as you call it. The mannerisms are not permitted.
Yeah,
So
of
that's
course.
very easy to say, but difficult to do when that they are part of your personality. And it is very amazing transforming journey that by the time you finish your training, in fact, why finish? By the time you finish your first term or second term maximum, that is 1 year of training, you have changed. And that change comes with a lot of punishment, a lot of effort that it comes, but it is a transformation definitely. So when somebody tells you, "Sir, Cadet Nan stopped me," so you have to just stand with a poker face. So all these expressions and all those things that you have from the childhood or wherever you're getting it from, all those are removed. There's small things which change, which your friends, which your parents, your near and dear ones will immediately realize once you get back. It is like coming back from a prison. I'm again using the word prison because probably prison is the only place where you go and you're not allowed to come out without your hand. But it's a wrong analogy to call it a prison, but nonetheless, it is very different. When you go and you come back, people notice a lot of difference in the way you stand, in the way you converse, and your mannerisms and everything change. Some of the movies which show it is like Lakshya, you would have seen.
Yeah,
How
awesome.
Hrithik Roshan suddenly becomes upright
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
from the college student he is.
yeah,
So
yeah.
something like
And
yeah,
one
you're
more
saying
thing, I
something.
just wanted to add, like in NDA, there is one thing which is taught is that ki the problem solving wala attitude. Like okay, like anything तुम्हें उसको मतलब के सॉल्व करके आना पड़ेगा है ना.
I'll,
And
I'll, I'll I'll go one step further, which was taught in Mike's Con. Even if it doesn't get resolved, you be happy. So you have to stay happy, come what may. You try and solve it, you try to solve it in your mind, and then you realize most of the problem are only in the mind. They are not
Yeah.
actually there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you solve it, but more importantly is to remain happy.
Yeah.
Under
Of
any
course.
circumstance, even if you put you in the jungles of Africa and go and meet you, somebody will expect that you will be at your wits end. तुम्हारा बिल्कुल खत्म हो चुके होंगे. ऐसा नहीं होता. तुम वहां जाओगे तो देखेगा एक्स इंडियन है वहां पे छोटा सा सोने का एरिया बना लिया और वो मजे कर रहा है, खा पी रहा है,
Yep.
खुश है. When you go to rescue him, he might tell him, "Oh, I'm ready to come with you, but if you want, I can stay back also. There's no issue. It's good time." So
Yeah.
that kind of attitude that comes wherever you go, you find your own happiness. That attitude is very useful throughout life. Forget NDA, wherein and of course that attitude is not very much liked by your spouse or people who live close to you because they are in that thing कि खुश रहता है इसको कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता. He will have a fight with someone. I mean, and then he'll be angry, and then after some time he'll be in his own world. कि हाँ
Absolutely.
खाना मिल गया and
Absolutely.
life is एकदम jazz. There is no issue. Even if I don't watch TV, it's fine. Even if I don't do anything, I'll stare out of a window and stay happy if requirement is like that. There is no
Absolutely.
requirement of finer things in life necessarily. Finer things are always welcome, but not mandatory for happiness.
Yeah, that's
And
philosophical.
another thing that I learned is from NDA, that especially from NDA, that everything is relative. That
Yeah.
means if I tell someone, I'll tell you in NDA parlance, you will understand कि अगर NDA में आपको कोई बोले कि you know what cross country is in NDA. You have a timing to achieve, and that timing is what we call as the enclosure.
Yeah.
Suppose, and to run that, you have run to your best possible limit in every sense. You are about to collapse, maybe throw up, उल्टी आने वाला था. इतना तुम भागे और सब जगह पूरी बॉडी में दर्द सहा और भागे और तब उतने टाइमिंग में पहुंचे एंड यू आर नॉट ड्रेडिंग कि कल फिर से दोबारा ये रिपीट करना है प्रैक्टिस रन में. बट नाउ दैट्स द रिलेटिविटी विच कम्स इन. आई टेल यू, ओके रंजुल, you can today drop your enclosure by 2 enclosures. I will not say anything. Suddenly you feel relaxed. Wow, now I'm going to run aram se. I'm not going to run like the way I ran yesterday. If I tell this to you one night prior to the run, when you're psyching yourself, then you're even more relaxed. Yeah. Then if I tell you, आपको ना Ranjul 2 enclosure नहीं, आप बस race complete कर लो. You just finish the race anyhow. Then you're even more relaxed. Okay, and you are even happier. You say, "Oh my God, I'm lucky." But imagine if I tell you, Ranjul, सिर्फ चल के करना है. You don't even have to run. You just walk. I tell you, even further, you can take a shortcut, and just join to the final venue.
Mhm.
I'll be okay. You will be thrilled. One night prior, you will feel you're the luckiest guy on this side of Pacific because आपको तो दौड़ना ही नहीं है. But life doesn't end over here. Person says, सर आपको तो दौड़ना नहीं है, बट एक और बंदे को सिर्फ सुबह आना है और प्रेजेंट लगवाना है. He has to be there and he says आपका प्रेजेंट मार्क हो जाएगा and then you just have to sit over there. So that guy is like, hogging in the night because he doesn't even have to walk. So इससे मैं कितना भी खा लूं, I'll be comfortable tomorrow. मेरे को तो कुछ नहीं करना है. Those hours that you spend from then till the race over, you feel privileged. You feel, wow, I am better than the rest. Better in the sense, better off. But now see the relativity, and now the kamina pun comes in, that is human mind. A Makra cadet will say, sir, मैं अगर वहां पे सिर्फ पी लगवाने आ रहा हूँ तो मैं रूम में ही सो जाता हूँ. Why should I even wake up in the morning? मैं क्रॉस कंट्री दौड़ने के लिए उठूं ना तो चलेगा क्या? Then he says, चल ठीक है रूम में सो जा, मैं तेरे को एडजस्ट कर दूं. बट कमीनियत यहाँ भी नहीं रुकती. अब बोलते सर अगर मैं रूम में ही सोया हूँ तो मैं पुणे लिबर्टी चले जाता हूँ, मैं अपने गर्लफ्रेंड को मिल लेता हूँ. So you realize that this is how human mind works. Every concession that is given to you, the next concession, say, it becomes a smaller concession.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is what you have to understand in life, which NDA teaches you a harsh way. Wherever you are, whichever level you are, your third enclosure, learn to enjoy that. Learn to find your peace in that. Learn to find enjoy your privileges in that.
Yeah.
You remember when you became fourth termer or third termer, I think. Third termer, you were told you can mix your jam and butter together.
And privileges
It's a
are earned
privilege.
basically, है ना? At every
Yeah, so
stage.
every 6 months you get new privileges.
Yeah.
जो ये आपका जो ये सिस्टम है रिलेटिविटी का जो मैंने आपको अभी बताया, ये रिलेटिविटी का सिस्टम है लिंक्ड. हाउ इज इट ट्रेन्ड? बाय गिविंग privileges. You say your first month you're not even allowed to walk. You're only to run. And you can't even run in the center of the corridor. You have to run from the sides so that the center is free for the seniors to walk whenever they want to walk. So, so these privileges, as you keep growing up, you keep on, and you feel a sense of entitlement. So now I can add my butter to my jam and apply it on my toast. A person in the civil might say, hey, jam or butter कौन खाएगा यार? Give me Nutella. But in India, when you don't get anything, you say, wow, jam or butter मिला के. So everything is relative. This is what you learn and you remain happy. Whenever somebody tells me, even today, I am now 46 years old. Somebody tells me, oh, उसकी इतनी salary है. Yeah, like in my profession, somebody tells me, तो fly Dubai जाएगा तो you will earn this much. And it'll be tax free because you'll be staying in Dubai. I know the fund of relativity. अब मेरे को दुबई देख के मेरे को अपनी यहाँ की सैलरी कम लग रही है.
Yeah.
So while Fauji's and ex-NDAs remain the most immature lot, they appear to be the most immature lot because they seem to be enjoying those small privileges. But it's like Krishna ki Leela. When Krishna was a boy, he had to chori karo the makhan. So he did. It's like I'm a customer. I have to do what customer does. When I'm a six-termer, I have to be the boss. I have to roam around the squadron as if the squadron belongs to me. I am the final. So that is like a Leela. You have to enjoy every step, and wherever you are, you enjoy it, you cherish it. So which is what you continue into your life also.
Absolutely.
So we appear to be kids, bachas. My wife or my parents will tell me, yeah, stop doing buffoonery. I will dance, I will tell jokes, I will do funny things. And they're like, what? You're a 46-year-old guy. Even my child tells me, "Abhi, आप इतना बड़े हो, आप ये," but you remain a child because that's what is drilled over there. Wherever is there, enjoy that moment. Do your best. Don't be shy of dancing. Don't be shy. So this, I think, is something which NDA teaches you and transforms you, your thinking, and the rest of the things might change. You might become fat. You might become, different. Your looks might change. But what changes over here are two things. One is the belief that the happiness is in my hand. And the second part that it teaches you is you don't know your limits, both physical and mental. So every damn thing is achievable. When you come to the first term, like you're a civilian, I don't know how it went with you, but me being a city kid, I couldn't even do like 1 foot of rope. And you know, we have to go पूरा ऊपर तक नीचे जाके आना है rope से. So ये हालत था कि in the first term, my CSM, we used to have PT competition then. Later on, it got removed. The PT competition, every squad had to win. So they used to look out for people like me who couldn't do rope. So I still remember my CSM, he held me by like collar like this. साठे तुम्हारी वजह से हमारा squad हारेगा PT comp. But we won the PT comp. And by the way, I did higher tests also. Forget my basic test. I even did higher test. I lost 18 kgs of weight, 18 kilograms. Yeah, it was crazy because no eating. We had to eat our breakfast in like 2 minutes.
So मतलब बख्शी ने सिखाया था मुझे कि rolling becomes victim mode if the person next to you is scream rolling very fast.
Scream rolling fast.
So means you should be happy at what you are. You don't know what the next
people
person
come
is
back
doing.
after taking punishment and they're happy. They're like, why? सर मैं तो 2 सिंगड़ में बच गया. बाजू वाले को 7 दिन restriction. जबकि 2 सिंगड़ is 2 Sundays continuously. You have to go right till the Singad fort, which is like 22 kilometers distance as per the NDA SOP. NDA SOP said 20, but it was actually more than 22 because you never went through the official route. You went by the road which was cleared that day by the.
And it's uphill, yeah. It's
uphill with a load on back. It's with a load on back.
It's uphill.
But you're very happy. Why? Because I'm going to see civilians. I'm going to, bask in the sun. Yeah. You know what? You realize you enjoy when you decide to enjoy. Okay. And this I realized one day when I used to not like horse riding too much. And I used to think that being an Air Force cadet, मुझे क्या करना है horse riding का? But since it's a part of the syllabus है, मेरे को करना पड़ेगा. और एक दिन, I think 4th term में मैं horse riding करते करते, that day it was a long canter gallop, which we did over, the mountains. And I was not a very keen rider. I used to ride what was minimum required. But that day, I was enjoying in the 4th term. And the Saab came up and he said, good, Shabash, Sate, very good. And I just said, Saab, aaj bada maza aa raha hai. Do you know what he said? What he said, I still remember till date. And he was riding along with me. He was like by my side. He just said, cadet, मजा आपके दिल में है. आज आपने डिसाइड किया मजा आ रहा है, इसलिए मजा आता है. हम तो रोज ही राइडिंग करते हैं, हमें तो रोज मजा आता है. Then I realized, yeah, I'm not doing anything new. It is just that I have decided that I have to enjoy. So I am enjoying. So then I realized it's your possibilities within you. You have to decide what I have to do. And whether I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to keep crying, I'm going to say, oh, yaar, kis liye maine. So these kind of things, and the attitude that you have is infectious to the others also.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a coach mate called Datta. Sudeep Datta. Nothing against Datta. Datta is a
Has he
great
left?
guy, good friend now.
Is he still in Fauj or has he left?
No, he just left recently. Okay, I have in fact spoke to him also. But I'm sorry, I'm jumping topics, but I'm bringing out the point of this maza and the mental thing, how infectious it is. We're walking in the cab, we're dead tired, entire night. We've started walking at about maybe 6:30. In fact, before sunset. We started walking at 4:35. And it's 3 in the morning. We're continuously walking and we are nowhere close to the point that we're supposed to go. And we are navigating through the jungles. We're walking in one line in the jungle. And he keeps saying, अरे अगर मैं घर पे होता तो अभी मैं टीवी देख पता नहीं कहाँ से एंडी में आ गया. अगर मैं अभी घर पे होता तो मैं खाना खा के सो रहा होता. It starts working on everybody's psyche. Finally, I told him, Datta, just shut up. नहीं तो घूसा मारूंगा तेरे को पकड़ के. I want to really hit you if you just speak another word. नहीं क्या हो गया तेरे को? ऐसे क्या हो गया? नहीं तो ये सब नहीं बोलेगा. अब एंजॉय कर रहा है. सी ऊपर तारे देख. तारे भी नहीं दिख रहे थे. ऊपर देखो तो पेड़ थे. मैं कहते सो ना भूत प्रेत याद आ रहे हैं ना डर लग रहा है. क्यों नहीं डर लग रहा है? इतने थके हुए हैं कि the only thing in the mind is reach that damn point and have some water and take some rest.
Absolutely.
So you realize that everything is so relative in your mind, and mind knows that if it has to enjoy, it will goddamn enjoy. So that is the point number one. And point number two, everything is pretty possible. Somebody tells you you have to run 44 kilometers. I say, what 44? I can't even run 4. But अगर तुम्हारे सिर पे बंदूक लगा दी उसने बोला दौड़ जब तक मरता नहीं है. You will run 44, no, you will run 440 kilometers also.
Yeah.
ठीक है. So that is some understanding that you get. That is point number two, where you realize that anything is possible. Physical limitation is only a limitation of the mind. It is not a limitation of the physical thing.
First I
So
like
that's
when we like just sorry to cut you, but yeah,
yeah.
means like the first time when I joined, first time when I joined, like make he like first few days, like 15, 20 days, it is like a party, right? I think the sergeant, right, the corporal, right, he takes you around. उसके बाद the first that but when we were standing, I saw the first rolling in NDA, and I was really scared. Bareback in that tar road, right? Sorry,
Hey, fair
parade
enough.
ground. That is one thing which really scared me. And the second part was that where we were first taken to the 10-meter jump. Yeah, that is also another great concept. कि like no, like पहला चीज ये है कि साला 10-meter jump करा दो.
Then 7 meter and 5 meter looks nothing. It looks peanuts.
Yeah,
So now, why did we start this topic? Okay, Ranjul, one of the things I only got you on this line
yeah,
was that to understand what is the benefit of joining NDA vis-a-vis only learning to be a pilot. Okay, so I can learn to be a pilot and you can say, "Bhai, ये सब जरूरत ही नहीं है करने की." But this is like life transformation. And that transformation is something which sticks on to you forever. And that will help you even if you have to become, I would go as far as saying a good businessman,
yeah,
maybe a good professional, anything. You realize, guys, सब यहाँ पे है.
absolutely.
Again, linking this to my own journey, I was very airsick.
Okay,
Okay. When I started my flying, HPT mein, glider, it didn't hurt too much because it was very short.
yeah,
But in HPT with the fumes of the
yeah,
piston engine aircraft and all that, I was very airsick in those aerobatics that we were doing, but I won't say high G maneuvers, but they had G involved and there are a lot of, rotation rolls and barrel rolls and loop. So I was very airsick. I used to throw up and I used to throw violently. I used to fill bags and bags
inside, yeah,
of, yeah. And in fact, I had an instructor who first 5, 6 flights was not very empathetic towards my cause. Okay. So he used to say, my pukey baby, Sate. Okay. And I used to keep puking. And it was so bad that I felt flying to छोड़ो. Anybody will understand, even if he's not flown, कि अगर बस में भी चक्कर आना
yeah,
है, life becomes hell.
hell,
Life becomes hell. You don't want to be there. But again, this NDA thing taught me that, bhai, this is temporary. Just don't say no. Just keep doing it. And my air sickness continued till 26 sorties. Not one, not two. So it was like nearly 2 months. I used to dread every day in the morning, जो थैली लेके जानी है और उसको भर के लाना है. Imagine somebody tells you, बेटा खा लो खाना अच्छे से, अभी इसको उल्टी करके आपको लेके आना है वापस सब कुछ. Every day. It was killer, but I kept on flying. I used to keep doing those helicopter on the ground and
yeah,
try. But you see, all the great people, whether it's a good bodybuilder like Arnold Schwarzenegger or it is anyone, you take any of the sportsmen, any of the people who have achieved something, and you realize that Arnold Schwarzenegger kept on training his muscles till the time they couldn't train anymore. That is why he became what he became. Okay, forget the genetics part of it or his ethnicity, but डेफिनेटली उतनी ट्रेनिंग कोई भी करेगा तो वो इंडिया का आर्नोल्ड तो बन ही जाएगा. अपने मोहल्ले का आर्नोल्ड तो बन ही जाएगा. फॉरगेट इवन इफ यू डोंट बिकम योर सिटी का आर्नोल्ड, अपने मोहल्ले का बन जाए. विच nobody can get it for you. I tell my children, I can give you AC, I can give you a nice bed to sleep on, I can give you AirPods, I can give you Apple phone or whatever suits you. I cannot give you this. I cannot buy this. I cannot say, oh, I have accumulated some money, so let me buy this for my children. I'll give them tenacity, I'll give them happiness, how to stay happy forever. I cannot buy it for you. वो तो आपको सर के बल उल्टा खड़ा रहना है, legs up, hands down करना है, NDA prayer बोलना है, and if you come down, there'll be a guy with a sota standing. He says, "You buddies put your foot down, and I'm going to hammer you on your backside." Hammer मतलब actually hammer you on your backside. It's not a joke. So that fear, that emotion, that thing, that I cannot buy it for you. वो आपको करना है, and once you have it, then you have it, then I can take it out from you. But you know, अब मेरे को कोई नहीं हरा सकता other than when I decide मुझे और नहीं करना है, अब मेरा हो गया है. So that is the profound thing that India gives you. बाकी सब training, बाकी सब thing is okay. You can get it at other places.
What do you think, like जैसे आर्मी वालों को क्या बुलाते हैं, पोंगोज, आर्मी पोंगोज, वो ऐसे इंडियन लिंगो, वी कॉल आवरसेल्व्स द एयरफोर्स गाइज एज द फ्लाई बॉयज एंड नेवी ऑफ कोर्स द नेवल डोप्स. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन the Air Force and the Army and the Navy?
I'll answer this in two parts. One is where you come from, and okay, for your viewers, before I answer this question, these names that Ranjul said are names. Don't think that these are given by the Air Force people, because we both are from the Air Force. So people might end up thinking that we are the the kingpins of the India and others all are following us. No, in a batch of say 350 NDA cadets, close to 60 or 65 or maybe maximum 70 are Air Force cadets.
Air Force cadets, yeah.
You would know that. And maybe 40 to 50 are naval cadets. So that makes it about 110, 120 people. The rest 230 are army. So they are in huge numbers. So today we two are there and none of our army brothers are there. So they might take offense to that कि दोनों एफएस वाले मिलके ऐसे दिखा रहे थे, हम ही सब कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं. Well, अब now coming to the question itself, the calling pongos or flyboys or naval dopes, these are all, as we call in India, lingos.
Yeah, Indian lingo, yeah.
And this is not the only lingo. We know it. South Indian में Tamil is called Tambi and Andhra it is called Gulti. Now Telangana also might be called Gulti. At our time it was only Andhra Pradesh, so it was Gulti. Then Mallus.
Yeah.
Then you have, Tants,
Yeah.
Tantya Tope. So I was a Tant, I was a Marathi. Marathis are called Tants for some reason. And then you have, Panjus and you have all kinds. Okay. These are NDA lingo, and many of the NDA lingo are unique to NDA. You will not find them outside NDA. Some of these things, I am very sure the civilian friends would be listening. They say, "Oh, हमारे पे भी ये बोलते हैं, मल्लो को मल्लो." But then there are some things which are totally from NDA only. Like you say, don't dope. And then we call Navy guys also naval dopes. So a dope is a slang for a person who displays less situational awareness or probably is not aware of what things are around him and keeps making small mistakes. We call him dope. Don't dope it out. So these are the things that NDA lingo is there. So I feel basic difference, if I have to say formally, what I said right now is informal. But formally, when you fill up your NDA form, okay, a lot of your viewers might have this question that how do you decide whether you go to Air Force, Navy or Army? But when you fill out your NDA form, which is the UPSC form, UPSC is Union Public Service Commission, which takes the exams, which conducts these exams and compiles the result for this exam. When you fill up that form, there itself you give your first choice as Air Force, Army, Navy or Naval Academy. So accordingly you're tested. You're tested according to that. So अगर आपने अपना choice ही Air Force दिया है, so you will be sent to an Air Force Selection Board, AFSB, and where you will undergo, 3 types of tests. Rest will undergo only 2 types of tests, major. So I'm not talking about the preliminary intelligence test or screening test, that is over and above. But basically they will undergo a test of their officer-like qualities, OLQ. Air Force guys, on the other hand, will undergo pilot aptitude test as well. So pilot aptitude test, which Rajul, you have also undergone and I have undergone, is like once in a lifetime test. So you can only appear once in your lifetime, and that result, pass or fail, dictates whether you can join aviation any of the 3 arms, Army, Navy, Air Force. If you have failed that, you can never fly in the Army, Navy or Air Force. But that doesn't stop you from flying in the civil. Okay, that's for information.
Okay.
So from the word go itself, Air Force guys have appeared for 1 test extra. Secondly, Army and Navy, obviously, with their officer-like quality wala test is similar to what is there for the Air Force. That part is not different. So that elitism that we are talking of, you have less number of people, only 70 people who have cleared the pilot aptitude test. So you carry that chip on your shoulder. He's a flyboy. Yeah. Okay, so that is where I think it should end. and we shouldn't take it any further than this.
Yeah, I'm taking from NDA to a little bit of into aviation and all that. Since you told about the PABT test and all, were you an instructor also in flying?
Yeah, I was an instructor in flying. Yeah, I was a QFI, as we call it, qualified flying instructor.
Okay, okay. So now, like,
I was an instructor in the fixed wing,
fixed
not
wing
on the helicopter. Yeah.
helicopter. So how do you know if this has got this is a natural flyer, or maybe he's a good flyer, or he's good in instrument flying, or good in aerobatics, or maybe someone has got a natural knack of flying? So I just want to know, how do you get that, or how do you, as an instructor, know that?
Okay, first of all, you already cleared your pilot aptitude test before you joined the Air Force.
Yeah.
So your basic aptitude has been tested, that you have it. And these aptitude tests, just for your viewers, are broken into two parts. One is the written part, where you are given certain data and you have to analyze how it looks in 3 dimension.
Yeah.
It's very simple. A class is conducted, you need not study for it. You go over there, you're taught those things, and in fact, a practice session is also done,
Yeah.
a small practice session,
Yeah.
and then you do, those things that they're natural. And the second part of the test is where you call it as the battery test, pilot aptitude battery test. The battery test is basically some kind of a video game where multiple tasks are given to you. And again, a small practice is given and you're given 3 attempts. So out of the best out of the 3 is taken. So it's very fair and square. And if you have that aptitude even in a basic level, you will pass that test. So don't take tension. Generally, people who play video games and all do very well in those tests because it is very similar to playing a game. Now, as far as your question of how to identify a natural flyer, okay, I will say flying is definitely some amount of it is natural, but that part has already been taken care of by the pilot aptitude test to a large extent. So one shouldn't bother if you have already passed that. That is one. Next is you play sports. If you play sports, your ability to, do multiple tasks and also psychomotor skills is already enhanced by the sports. So generally, I'm not making it a rule. I know of a couple of people who are good sportsmen but didn't make good pilots. Okay, I will not take names, but very few, very few. Generally, it will be if you're a good sportsman, you are a decent pilot, definitely. Okay, and a word about Sardars. So I don't know, Sardars are good sportsmen, that's why they become good pilots, or they are birds and surds. They fly like we always joke. So very few Sardars whom I know who didn't make it to a pilot. Okay, after the journey. So that was on a lighter note. Don't take me seriously on the Sardar wala front. But anybody who wants to be a good pilot first needs to be a decent sportsman. Okay, and certain exercises which I always say, like, wait a minute, I can just show it to you. Maybe I keep it here, keep this here. See, a simple exercise, like if I tell you, this is puja ki thali. If you can do this, left hand, the thing has to continue. Or if you tell me ulta, so I will do it ulta. So it should not happen that both are happening like this. Okay. Or if I tell you, okay, hit it like this, okay, just put it like this. Yeah. Okay. So you keep hitting with your left hand. So these are exercises you teach yourself. Your left hand does a particular activity, your right hand does, and you can detach them mentally. So if you can practice these things and you are good at sports, I think you are. And next, most important, these are things are smaller things. Most important is your hard work. I will, emphasize it a million times because hard work, because you are in an unfamiliar environment. मैं जब जहाज में बिठा देता हूँ, आप चाहे कितने बड़े स्पोर्ट्समैन हो, कितने बड़े टॉप गन मैवरिक हो, भगवान ने बनाए हुए, when the engine starts, the sound, the instruments, the whole environment overwhelms all your senses. आपको too much हो जाता है. So when that too much happens, only thing that is able to lead your way is what you have practiced. So if in your room you have done chair flying, that means you sit on a chair and imagine. So what will happen the moment engine starts, you will forget 50% of what you've learned with that noise. And when the instructor starts telling you, okay, see, I'm taxiing left, I'm seeing the first flight or second flight or initial first 10 flights. Even the taxiing on the ground, which you call the process of moving on the ground, is called taxiing. Even that is new to you. Wow, you're moving forward. So it's not a joyride. Now you're supposed to learn in it. So instructor will keep telling you something. So you're not able to absorb what he's telling you. A time will come when you'll be so overwhelmed. He says, okay, raise your left hand. My left hand. Oh, sir. Left. I mean, left. So you'll have to say, this is left, boss, my this is right. So, that, yeah.
Instructors try to confuse us, right? Left, 3 o'clock, yeah, right, 9 o'clock.
Way to hold my hand, way to keep how to speak inside that. So these are things which you can eliminate. You don't require an instructor for it. You can do it on your. So it requires like a riyaz. Just liken it to a tabla session. If I tell you how to learn tabla, okay, and I, as an instructor, teach you for 1 hour, keep your hand like this and hit it like this. Now I leave you. When I leave you, you should take the tabla on your own and keep playing it for hours and hours and end. Then only you will learn. You don't expect that वो अगले दिन जब 1 घंटा सिखाएगा उसमें आप तबला बजाना सीख जाओगे. No, वो बीच में जो टाइम है जो चला गया सिखा के, you have to keep doing riyaz. Whatever he taught you, do it a million times. Then you will get better at it. Correct? If I teach you a new sport like badminton, you never played badminton, I tell you hold the shuttlecock like this, leave the shuttlecock and hit. Now you might mistime it. You might leave the shuttlecock and you might move the racket slightly late or shuttlecock नीचे गिर जाए. So I teach you how to serve. Beta, this is how you serve. Hold it, release, hit. Now when I hit it's very easy, but when I give it to you, tum karo, it doesn't match. So now if I teach you this for you 1 hour, I'll leave. After that you have to practice on your own a million times. Imagine if you do it 1,000 times. Next day when you come, the instructor will suddenly see a difference. You started making contact in your second session itself. And imagine in that day, that 24 hours, you don't practice. You say, मैं तो थक गया बहुत आज दिमाग का दही हो गया. I can't do anything more. Next day when you go again, you will come back to zero. And the instructor will know it, that you have not practiced. He will very easily make out कि नहीं इसने किया practice. So that is where the whole difference is made. Actually not by the talent. Talent comes much later. Talent comes much later. Talent comes when you go at a higher level. For example, if you're, a big tennis player, say, anyone, you take a, tennis player or badminton player, or you say you're Ronaldo, let's say football. Ronaldo's skill comes much better, but there are 100 players who are playing below Ronaldo. At least reach that level. एक लेवल पे पहुंचने सुपीरियर है मतलब आउट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड वाला है वहां पे आपका ये फ्लाइंग का टैलेंट व्हाट यू मेंशन मेक्स अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन 19 एंड 20. ओके बट 19 तो तुम्हारे हाथ में हार्डवर्क से 18 तो पक्का ही तुम्हारे हाथ में 17 और 18. एंड लेट मी टेल यू एयरफोर्स या कहीं भी फौज में पास होने के लिए आपको 16-17 पहुंचना है 18 भी नहीं पहुंचना 20 में से उधर तक पास हो जाओगे उसके आगे यू यानी ओन जर्नी टू बिकम 19.1 19.2 19.4 19. So that one has to keep in mind. So I will tell you don't get perturbed about my flying skill. You remain healthy, you play all your sports. And yeah, more important is the focus. It is a skill to be learned. There is no doubt. It is not like army. It is not like navy.
Yeah.
It's a skill. One is to understand. Army, navy में अलग skill चाहिए उसमें. You have to be how to control, how to take care of people, how to lead people. That is a separate skill. Here it's a physical skill, flying. So that is where it is very different. Okay. Yeah.
You were from HPT to Kiran Mark 1. I also flown a little bit of MiG-21s. After that, where I got into like helicopters, the speed of MiG-21 is a totally different kind of a jump. From a Kiran Mark 1 or a Mark 2, that's a different kind of a jump, right? You, after helicopters, again, you went back to MiG-21s? Like how?
No, I went to Kiran first. So I started back from the Kiran phase, that is the Hakimpet stage 2A, as used to be called at that time. But today things are very different, Ranjul. You'll be very happy to note I was an instructor on Hawk, which is an advanced jet trainer. Okay. Imagine 1978, La Fontaine Committee had recommended that after Kiran, you need to have a lead-in trainer before you go on to supersonic fighters.
Yeah.
Like 21 or any supersonic fighter for that matter. So that gap was not filled. It took 20 long years. I mean, उसके बाद 78 से मैं जब तक इंस्ट्रक्टर बन it was like 2007 so 30 years old. Okay, 30 साल बाद वो जहाज इंडिया ने खरीदा which was known as the AJT Advanced Jet Trainer. Advanced Jet Trainer की खूबी ये है कि वो किरण का भी परफॉर्मेंस देता है और सुपरसोनिक फाइटर का जो लोअर एंड है उसका परफॉर्मेंस. इट्स लाइक जस्ट 1.1 mark is the VNE of Hawk. That is the fastest speed that it can go. Okay, but so it is in between these two. Plus, it is very good for training, wherein a lot of training modes are there. Because जो भी fighter बने हैं like MiG-21 or any other fighter, but full-fledged fighter meant to fight a war. So it is like Formula 1. Formula 1 की गाड़ी है तो it is meant to win a race. So it is made for professionals. सीखने वाली गाड़ी है मारुति 800 या Omni या whatever. अब उन दोनों के बीच में हमें कोई गाड़ी चाहिए ना जो कि थोड़ा सा Formula 1 वाला थोड़ा सा performance दे. So that gap is now bridged with this AJT. Yeah. And very well bridged. It's got simulators. It's got training modes. So I was an instructor on that, and today life is much more comfortable, thankfully so, for the trainees. But then it is uncomfortable because the technology has gone forward, so much more is to be learned than what we learned.
Of course. And like the speed of sound, like whenever I meet people, they ask me, how does it feel to fly at the speed of sound from your side?
Actually, you don't feel anything, to be very frank. But It is more of the instruments definitely show you. When you go supersonic, you have a Mach jump. That means all the instruments just shake once because of the dynamic and static pressure के changes that takes place around your sensing instruments. So that we call as a Mach jump. Because even 100 kmph on an expressway will feel nothing. You know, it happens to us in our cars also. When you're in a good car, you are in a BMW, okay, or maybe you're in a XUV or whatever, you know, car you are able to sit. And you are on an expressway, you'll find, oh, even what speed? Oh, you're 120 kmph. My God, you know, पता ही नहीं चला. Till you getting some vibrations, or the roads are very narrow. So that is how going supersonic feels. More important than that is the what task you have to do in that much time. You understand? अगर मैं एक्सप्रेस वे पे जा रहा हूँ 120 की स्पीड पे और मैं आपको बोलूं भाई पॉटहोल्स गिनना शुरू करो, कितने गड्ढे हैं, तो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा ना. और बहुत सारे पॉटहोल्स होंगे तो बोलेंगे वो गिन ही नहीं पा रहा, बहुत तेजी से जा रहा हूँ मैं, आई एम टू फास्ट. सो सेम थिंग हैपेंस इन अ फाइटर. इन अ फाइटर इफ यू फ्लाइंग एट लो लेवल दैट इज वेरी क्लोज टू द ग्राउंड and you're flying at say 840 kilometers per hour, which is our navigation speed. Okay, a speed at which we navigate. So somebody asked me, इतनी तेज जाने की क्या जरूरत है भाई? आपको दुश्मन से बचना है ना. दुश्मन आपको गोली मारेगा, मिसाइल मारेगा, तो आपको सर्टेन स्पीड पे रहना है. दूसरी चीज, दुश्मन से जहाज आपको पकड़ ना पाए, ये भी एक है. ओके, बहुत तेज जाओगे तो आपका फ्यूल ज्यादा, ईंधन ज्यादा बर्न होगा. तो आपको एक बीच की स्पीड रखनी है जहां पे आप तेज हो, जिससे आप डिफेंसेस से बच पाओ और आप अपने आप को ही बचा पाओ दूसरे फाइटर जहां. इसलिए हम 800-900 की स्पीड पे जाते हैं क्लोज टू ग्राउंड. नाउ एक आपके व्यूअर्स के लिए आई जस्ट गिव यू सम नंबर्स सो इट बिकम इंटरेस्टिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रिस्पांस यू आर आस्किंग. सपोज यू आर नेविगेटिंग, आप एक मिग 21 में हो या 23 में हो, 20 आप तो 23 नहीं रहे, जिस भी जहाज में हो, में हो, और आप 840 किलोमीटर पर आवर पे जा रहे हैं, इट वर्क्स आउट टू okay, 900 kmph speed works out to 15 kilometers a minute, which is the speed at which we drop our bomb. Most fighter jahaj mein weapon release is at 900 kmph. Okay. So 900 kmph works out to 15 kilometers a minute. Imagine you're just 100 meters above the ground. 100 से 150 मीटर above the ground आप उड़ रहे हो at 15 kilometers a minute. Okay, so things are just going past like a blur. आपको सामने दिख रहा है, लेफ्ट राइट देखोगे तो बहुत तेज जा रही है साइड से, आप देख नहीं पाओगे. So you can only look 30 degrees here or maybe थोड़ा सा 40-45 तक, you can make out things. 15 kilometers a minute means half कर दो, 7.5 kilometers in 30 seconds and 3.75 kilometers in 15 seconds. How much? 15 seconds. And about 1.7, 1.8 kilometers in 7 seconds. And about 800 to 900 meters in 3 seconds. So अगर 3 सेकंड क्या, मैंने मैप में नीचे इंस्ट्रूमेंट में नीचे देखा, ऊपर देखा और समझा, 3 सेकंड हो गए, 1 किलोमीटर 3 सेकंड में 1 किलोमीटर निकल चुका है पीछे. सो अगर मुझे कुछ भी दिख रहा है 1 किलोमीटर आगे, वो तो नल एंड वाइड है, मतलब उसको कोई फायदा ही नहीं देखने का, क्योंकि जो मैं देख रहा हूँ वो तो ऑलरेडी चला गया है, मतलब पलक जब पीछे से. सो कम से कम मुझे 4 किलोमीटर आगे देखना है, तब वो मैं अगले 8 से 10 सेकंड में पकड़ पाऊंगा. सो इमेजिन द लेवल ऑफ प्रिपरेशन दैट आई हैव टू हैव इन द लो लेवल नेविगेशन. दैट मींस मेरा मैप जो है वो मैं ऐसे नहीं कर सकता कि मैं मैप में देखा और देखा अच्छा ये ब्रिज, अब ब्रिज को देखो, कहाँ है ब्रिज, वो रहा ब्रिज. इतना टाइम नहीं है. हेलीकॉप्टर में बहुत टाइम है, हेलीकॉप्टर में आराम से कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. ट्रांसपोर्ट में तो अच्छे से टाइम है, इवन हेलीकॉप्टर में, दोनों में टाइम है कि आप मैप में देखो, आप बोलो अगला ना एक ब्रिज आएगा, तो कहाँ है ब्रिज, वो नदी जा रही, हाँ ये रहा. फाइटर में आप जब लो लेवल पे जा रहे हो, यह मैप आपने रट रखा है, या आपने कई बार उसको प्रैक्टिस कर रखा है. आपको पता है कि ब्रिज के बाद मैं लेफ्ट एज ऑफ द विलेज पे जाऊंगा, विच इज क्लोज टू द बेंड इन द रिवर. द रिवर का बेंड पॉइंट्स टुवर्ड्स दैट एज ऑफ द विलेज. एंड नाउ आई जस्ट लुक, आई पिक अप द रिवर, आई पिक अप द विलेज, ओके मैं बेंड पे होना चाहिए था, बट मैं एक्चुअली विलेज के एज पे हूँ. दैट मीन्स वो भी मुझे याद है, अगर इन दोनों के बीच में डिस्टेंस है क्लोज टू किलोमीटर, दैट मीन्स आई एम राइट ऑफ ट्रैक बाय 1 किलोमीटर. सो आप समझ रहे हो कितने स्पीड पे आपका चल रहा है काम. बिकॉज सोचने के लिए 1 सेकंड लगता है, इनसे कहता है मैं 1 सेकंड में बताता हूँ, रुक कहते हैं ना, 1 सेकंड रुक मैं बताता हूँ. 1 सेकंड बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है. 1 या 2 सेकंड में आप निकल जाते हो 300-600 मीटर पीछे.
What about technology? Low flying, new aircraft technology.
So so newer aircraft, what is there is they
But
have
we don't
become,
do we do just low flying in Su-30s and all that?
you still do low flying. It's not that you do not do. Yeah, but you do very less. जो एक रीजन था लो फ्लाइंग का एक जमाने में was to avoid radars. Because radar जो है वो आपकी लाइट की तरह है. जहां स्ट्रेट लाइन में चलता है वो, और बहुत थोड़ा सा कर्व हो। सो अगर बीच में पहाड़ आ जाए या नेचुरली अर्थ कर्व हो रही है, तो रेडार कैन नॉट लुक बियॉन्ड द कर्व। सो इफ यू फ्लाई एट लो लेवल, आपकी रेडार जो दुश्मन का रेडार है, उसकी पिकअप की रेंज कम हो जाती है। तो आपको दुश्मन के रेडार से बचना है, तो आप जितना नीचे 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 उड़ोगे जमीन के पास, उतनी आप पास जा पाओगे विदाउट गेटिंग डिटेक्टेड। दैट पार्ट रिमेन्स ट्रू इवन टुडे।
Like in the Top Gun 2, Maverick.
Yeah, Top Gun 2 Maverick, or in more recent time, unless you have a AWACS, मतलब हवा में रडार है, हवा में रडार उसके साथ ही काम नहीं करेगा ज्यादा, उसमें भी काम करेगा बट कम काम करेगा। उसमें काम कम इसलिए करेगा क्योंकि हिल्स आएंगे, ग्राउंड की फीचर, या अब उसके रिटर्न में मर्ज,
Okay,
तो
okay.
थोड़ा थोड़ा काम करेगा, बट फिर भी आप पकड़े जाओगे, इट्स नॉट इम्पॉसिबल।
Understood.
बट जो ग्राउंड पे रेडार लगे हैं, उन रेडार के साथ इट इज वेरी वेरी इफेक्टिव इवन टुडे
Okay.
टू फ्लाई लो लेवल। एंड आप जानते ही हो कि इंडिया, हमारे जो नेबर्स हैं इंडिया के, वेदर इट इज इन पाकिस्तान, चाइना और एनीवन एल्स, they are not so high tech to possess a lot of AWACS, airborne sensors. They have, but it's not everywhere. So you will continue to use low flying as a strategy, as a tactic against. तो आपको ट्रेन तो करना है उसके लिए जो आप यूज करोगे। तो इट इज, टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन, इट इज इन यूज, बट it is, the importance is reduced what it used to be in early 80s 90s 2000s, but it is being used. तो आपका ये दूसरा सवाल था कि what technology is being used.
Yeah.
You today have autopilots, better autopilots than what we used to have. जो लेटेस्ट है, फॉर एग्जांपल रफाल, रफाल में रेडार के ऐसे मोड्स हैं जिससे कि रेडार टेरेन को फॉलो करता है।
Okay.
तो वो आने वाली टेरेन को पिकअप कर लेता है और जहाज को ऑटोमेटिकली पिचअप करके क्लियर करवा देता है उससे, ताकि आप
Wow.
you will not go into an obstruction. आप
Understood.
टकराओगे नहीं उस obstruction से।
Understood.
Okay, so you can keep your hands off and aircraft will automatically do this, which is, मतलब हमारे आंखों, पुराने पायलट्स की आंखों में आंसू आ जाएंगे देखिए कि भाई ये खुद ही कर लेता है जहाज।
Yeah.
So if I have to tell you in simple words, the modern fighter में, एयरक्राफ्ट में, पायलट has become like a manager, systems manager। जो बेसिक फ्लाइंग है, बेसिक चीज जहाज खुद कर लेता है, आपको डिसीजन देना है कि चाहते क्या हो उससे।
And
आप,
yeah,
हाँ,
so that
बताइए।
brings me to the next question कि now how do you see कि ये थोड़ा अभी और ज्यादा हाई टेक हो गया है. What do you see कि like with the missiles and UAVs and UCAVs, what is the relevance and of the Air Force and all? Is it losing or do we
No,
still
see,
need?
one has to understand, this is a very, question. We have jumped a big change
Yeah,
from
from
what we were
NDA.
speaking before. Yeah, but okay, I'll answer your question.
Yeah.
See, first of all, but for your viewers, I will say Air Force क्या है? Any power which is, given from the way of air.
Okay.
आप चाहे मिसाइल फायर कर लो, चाहे अनमैन्ड कॉम्बैट व्हीकल डाल दो, अनमैन्ड कॉम्बैट एरियल फाइटिंग व्हीकल डाल दो, जो भी एयर से आ रहा है वो एयर फोर्स है।
Oh,
Okay, Air Force doesn't have to be human sitting inside the aircraft.
okay.
ठीक है, you have to deliver power through the medium of air. ये पहली चीज है। दूसरी चीज आती है आपकी कि ये जो टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं, ये अभी अभी भी इमर्जिंग स्टेज पे है। ओके, दैट मीन्स दे हैव रीच्ड अ सर्टेन लेवल। मैं ये एग्जांपल कईयों को देता हूँ जो लोग बोलते हैं कि यार अब तो मैन्ड फाइटर्स तो खत्म हो गए,
हाँ।
अब तो सब कुछ अनमैन्ड करेगा। नो, दैट्स नॉट ट्रू। अनमैन्ड की तरफ जा रहे हैं। सो आई विल पुट इट मोर एंड मोर टास्क। कल अगर हम 100 काम कर रहे थे मैन्ड फाइटर्स, तो 100 में से 40 काम अब अनमैन्ड कर सकते हैं, सिर्फ
Okay.
60 मैन्ड को करने हैं। एंड आई एम वेरी श्योर एज वी ग्रो फर्दर उल्टा हो जाएगा, 60 अनमैन्ड करेंगे और 40 सिर्फ मैन्ड करेंगे।
Okay.
पूरा अनमैन्ड के पास जाने का जो ग्राफ है वो बहुत ऐसा स्टीप है। रीजन भी वो आपको नॉर्मल लाइफ में भी पता लग जाएगा। कैसे? जो आपके रूटीन ऑपरेशन है, बिकॉज सी, जो टेक्नोलॉजी एयरक्राफ्ट में यूज होगी, एआई की, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की, वो टेक्नोलॉजी आपको ग्राउंड पे भी दिखेगी ना। आप अगर कल को एक नी रिप्लेसमेंट ऑपरेशन करते हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अ वेरी रूटीन ऑपरेशन इन टूडेज टाइम्स, हजारों कंडक्ट होते हैं इन द कंट्री एवरी डे, लेकिन क्या एक कंप्यूटर को आप अपनी टांग देंगे कि इसको, रोबो बोलेगा मैं आपका नी रिप्लेसमेंट कर देता हूं, आप बोलोगे नहीं। क्यों? कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाए तो हमें एक ह्यूमन चाहिए वहां पे बैठा हुआ जो बोलेगा भाई गड़बड़ हो गई। सी, वी हैव हैड डेमोन्स्ट्रेशंस ऑफ एन F-16 फ्लाइंग, टेक ऑफ करके लैंड कर गया, पूरी मिशन करके अपने आप ऑटोनोमसली। वो मिशन करने के लिए कितने साइंटिस्ट बैठे थे वो कोई नहीं बताता ना आपको। सो वो लेवल पहुंचे कि आपको साइंटिस्ट की जरूरत, कोई जरूरत नहीं। उस दिन वी विल से, जो आपने टर्मिनेटर मूवी देखी है,
हाँ.
एक टर्मिनेटर करके मूवी आर्नोल्ड श्वार्ज़नेगर की,
Of
इंग्लिश,
course.
जो आपके व्यूअर्स इंग्लिश देखते हैं मूवीज, वर्ड आता है इज ऑफ द मशीन्स, तो ही सेज द स्काईनेट इज नाउ अवेयर when that time comes, when the network and the machine is aware, वो दिन पूरा पूरा टेक ओवर कर लेगा. They are not aware. And flight commander बोलेगा, आप एक काम करो, aircraft number 1543 ले जाओ, उसमें बहुत सारे missions. It is very experienced, flown 100 missions. It knows that where fuck-ups are going to take place, that but कहाँ पे होगा. So this kind of, till that comes, you'll require humans. So another point about civil aviation, I will just tell you, a lot of people feel, oh, अब तो autopilot है, pilot कर क्या रहा है, वो तो coffee पी रहा है, वो तो खाना खा रहा है. No, the pilot is managing everything. The only difference is जो हम manually काम कर रहे थे. Okay, I'll give you an example. जैसे आप घर में आपको आपकी mother बोलती है, या my mother now your wife tells you that घर साफ करना है. तो अगर आप 1990 में होते तो आप झाड़ू ले लेते और वो ले लेते और शुरू हो जाते साफ करना. करेक्ट. आज आपके पास वैक्यूम क्लीनर है. यू डोंट हैव टू बेंड डाउन. आप जस्ट वैक्यूम क्लीनर उधर पॉइंट करो एंड द थिंग विल बी पिक्ड अप. तो दैट डजंट मीन दैट आप साफ नहीं कर रहे. साफ अभी भी आप कर रहे हो. आपको मेहनत कम लग रही है, बहुत ही कम. ओके, कंपैरेटिवली चलाना आना चाहिए, उसको समझ आना चाहिए कि क्या वो पिकअप करेगा, क्या वो छोड़ देगा, उसका कौन सा रिसेप्टिकल आगे लगाना है, जो यहाँ काम जो क्रिवाइसेस में काम करेगा, जो फ्लैट वाला है वो कारपेट पे चले. सो 100 वे ऑफ यूजिंग इट. सो ये ऑटो पायलट इज लाइक दिस डिवाइस जो आपके लाइफ आसान कर रहा है. वो ऐसा नहीं कि आपने ऑटो पायलट उसको प्रोग्राम कर दिया तो जहाज के कान में बोल दिया कानपुर ले चलो, जहाज गया और सीधा वहां पे क्लाइम करके कानपुर चला गया. जीरो. वी आर नॉट इवन क्लोज टू दैट. वी हैव टू टेक 100 क्लियरेंसेस, स्पीक टू द एटीसी, वेदर. ओके, सम थिंग्स व्हिच सही गलत का मूल्यांकन, दैट इज जजमेंट. व्हाट इज करेक्ट, व्हाट इज नॉट ओके. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस ने आपने उसको दे दिया और वो लगेगा भैया भाड़ में गया सही गलत, जल्दी से जल्दी पहुंचाना है, कंपनी के पैसे बचाने हैं. और पता लगे आप 180 पैसेंजर्स को लेके आपने डेंजर में. ये जो वो है अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, अभी एज ऑफ नाउ मशीन पे आई नहीं. और जब आ जाएगी उस दिन आपको मशीन से डरना है, क्योंकि अब वो अवेयर हो चुके हैं, उनको पता है वो उनकी केपेबिलिटी क्या है. वो बहुत ही अभी एज ऑफ ना फ्यूचरिस्टिक है. एज आई सी इट, इफ यू आस्क मी फॉर एन एस्टिमेट, एटलीस्ट 25-30 साल तो कहीं नहीं गए. और इफ आई हैव टू वेरी प्रैक्टिकल, मे बी 50-60 साल. दो इट इज कमिंग एट सच अ रैपिड रेट दैट माय एस्टिमेट्स कुड बी रॉन्ग, बट दे विल नॉट बी वेरी ग्रॉसली रॉन्ग. फर्स्ट, I'll give you an example. जब F-22 बना था फाइटर, वे बैक इन अर्ली 2000, जब हम लोग कमीशन हो रहे थे, F-22 बन रहा था, तब लोगों ने बोला दिस इज द लास्ट मैन्ड फाइटर ऑफ द सेंचुरी. बट उसका नेक्स्ट वर्जन ऑलरेडी बन रहा है, विच इज पार्शियली मैन्ड, मीन्स ऑप्शनली मैन्ड, नॉट पार्शियली, ऑप्शनली, बिकॉज सम मिशंस विल रिक्वायर मैन, सम मिशंस कैन बी फ्लोन ऑटोनोमसली. अगर आपको मैं सिंपल चीज बताऊं, आपको कुछ एडिशंस करनी है, आप कंप्यूटर को दे दो ना करने के लिए, वो करेगा. बट आपको डिसाइड करना है ये बिजनेस चल पाएगा नहीं, चल इसमें दम है नहीं. तो एआई कैन ओनली गिव यू सजेशन, फाइनल कॉल आपको लेना है. तो ये है आपका मोटा मोटा आपके सवाल का जवाब कि आई मीन योर क्वेश्चन ये.
और ये बताओ कि यार लाइक अभी तो ठीक है, वी हैव डिस्कस हाउ इज लाइक द सिविल लाइफ, हाउ इज सिविल फ्लाइंग, एंजॉयिंग पर्क्स, हाउ इज इट? It means like for everyone looks like a very glamorous and life of a pilot क्या है मतलब drop dropping and all that.
Like any job, it has got its pluses and minuses. आप मूवी स्टार को बोलते हो कि मूवी स्टार बहुत ही लकी है यार, वो मूवी स्टार है, बट आपको ये नहीं दिखता उस मूवी स्टार को मूवीज में रहने के लिए जो मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, खाना. वैसे ही यहाँ पायलट की वी कांट ड्रिंक बिफोर आवर फ्लाइट्स बिकॉज वी गॉट अ ब्रेथ एनालाइजर. मोर देन ब्रेथ एनालाइजर तो लीगल रिक्वायरमेंट है. द मोर रिक्वायरमेंट इज द इमोशनल रिक्वायरमेंट. वी नो इट्स आवर ड्यूटी टू टेक ऑल पैसेंजर्स सेफली. And that duty is very big. That is not counted by money. Money is important, but it is like you are a pilot. Imagine कितनी बार एयरक्राफ्ट में, क्या आपने कभी सोचा है कि इस पायलट ने एक दिन पहले पार्टी की थी, क्या ये मेंटली फिट है क्या? यू अज्यूम मेरे को ये एयरलाइन ले जाएगी, वो भरोसा जिस भरोसे के साथ आप बैठते हो, वो भरोसे पे मैं खरा उतरना है ना. Absolutely. I have to be true to that भरोसा. I cannot be कि मैंने अपने पर्सनल बेनिफिट के लिए लोगों की जान खतरे में डाल दी. तो ये एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है जो comes with a big price in terms of your physical fitness, price in terms of your mental fitness. If I'm not mentally fit, मुझे ऐसी कोई खबर मिल जाती है जो कि emotionally disturbing है, then I'm supposed to refuse to fly. So all those things are there जो कि लोगों को दिखती नहीं. एंड बाकी ग्लैमर है जो आपको दिखता है, रेबैन लगाओ, एयरपोर्ट्स पे सलाम मिलता है सब लोगों से, यू आर द लीडर ऑफ द एयरक्राफ्ट. सो ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर देयर, बट पॉइंट टू अंडरस्टैंड इट, इट्स वेरी प्रोफेशनल एंड देयर इज zero forgiveness. See, there are two professions I always say in this world. which are very matching. One is being a surgeon, okay, and other is being a pilot. Why I compare the two? Surgeon में आप जब किसी इंसान को ऑपरेट करते हो, I'm not talking about doctor, I'm talking about surgeon. जब किसी को ऑपरेट करते हो, आप इंसान का शरीर काटने से पहले से उसके स्टमक का ऑपरेशन है, आपको श्योर होना है कि आपको पता है पूरा प्रोसीजर. काटने के बाद ये नहीं सोच सकते ओ यार वो वाला चैप्टर पढ़ा नहीं था जिसमें इंटेस्टाइन के बारे में था. क्या होगा उसका. दूसरी चीज, आप किसी बुक को कंसल्ट नहीं कर सकते, सो इट बी टू लेट टू स्टडी एंड डू समथिंग नाउ. तीसरा, इट इज योर स्किल, कैसे काटते हो, आपका हाथ कैसे चलता है. ठीक है, अगर आप कट ठीक से नहीं दोगे तो हीलिंग ठीक से नहीं होगी, मे बी जान भी खतरे में जा सकती है. ये सेम चीज पायलट की है. आपको आपको ये नहीं कह सकते यार मैं जैसे मैंने इंजीनियरिंग की पढ़ाई की यार, मैंने ना सो एंड सो चैप्टर मैंने ऑप्शन में डाल लिया था. You have to know 100%. Similarly, you have to be physically fit. Every landing that I do, forget fighters, even civil flying, I am getting an aircraft which is like 60 tons, 60-70 टन का जहाज है, उसको मैं धरती माँ पे लेके आ रहा हूँ with speeds of 250 to 300 kilometers per hour. उतनी स्पीड में जब ला रहा हूँ और धरती को टच हो रहा है, इट हैज टू टच इन अ ग्रेसफुल मैनर. जरा सी गलती हुई, इमेजिन एट दैट वेट एंड एट दैट स्पीड, जहाज छूटने में पता भी नहीं चलेगा आपको. एक बड़ा सा धमाका होगा. मतलब आपकी व्यूअर्स को डराना नहीं चाहता, बट आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. कितने क्रैशेस हो चुके हैं जिसमें हमें पता है कि लोग बड़े हंस रहे थे, गा रहे थे. बट व्हेन आई से दैट, लेट मी अश्योर यू वन थिंग एंड योर व्यूअर्स आल्सो बिफोर वी एंड दिस थिंग, एयर ट्रैवल, स्पेशली सिविल ट्रैवल, इज द सेफेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड. आपको पता है दिन के कितने लोग मरते हैं इंडियन रोड्स पे? आप गूगल करिएगा, आपको पता लग जाएगा. 14 to 1500 पीपल डाई every day on Indian roads. Die. I'm not talking about people who meet with an accident. Maybe 100 times people more meet with an accident, but nothing happens. खरोच आ जाती है, हाथ पांव टूट जाता है. आपको कब पता है लास्ट एयरक्राफ्ट एक्सीडेंट हुआ था इंडिया में जिसमें लोग मरे थे? याद करिए. आपको याद भी नहीं आएगा. मे बी एक हुआ था मैंगलोर में, एक हुआ था कैलिकट में, मेनी इयर्स बैक. या बट इट्स मोर देन 10 years back that you ever heard. Imagine what are the chances. दिन की 500 फ्लाइटें ऑपरेट कर रही है सिर्फ एयर इंडिया एक्सप्रेस की, जिसमें मैं फ्लाई करता हूँ, और दिन की हजारों फ्लाइटें ऑपरेट कर रही है सारी एयरलाइन मिला के, thousands. For years on end, and there's no accident. You are in the safest hands in the world. Our aviation record, Indian aviation ka, is better than is better than, even American, European countries. So you are in safe hands, but for which, as you said, the pilots, the crew, I will not put it only pilots, the entire crew of that aircraft have to play ball, as you say. They have to understand their things professionally, be social, and all those things are part of the game, for which you have to work hard.
Amazing. Amazing talking to you. I will not stop you any further. Enjoy your weekend in Bahrain. You're coming back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow morning I'll reach, afternoon I'll reach Cochin. Morning I'll start from here, and since I'm traveling I'm traveling east, so I'm going to gain time. So I'm going to leave from here at 8 o'clock, but reach at 3:30 in the afternoon. 3:30 in the afternoon.
And Cochin to Mumbai?
Cochin to Pune. मुंबई मेरे को कंपनी देती है, लेकिन मैं पुणे अपने आप अपने खर्चे में निकल जाता हूँ.
Oh, अच्छा, that's great. And what about Guwahati? When are you coming to Guwahati? Do you fly this sector?
Yeah, in fact, I have done Guwahati flights, but there was no stay. We went to Guwahati and came back immediately. Delhi Guwahati hai. I've done Kolkata Guwahati. I've done Delhi Guwahati. But abhi I've heard latest ki Guwahati ka layover bhi aa gaya. Yeah, because last time Ashish Jorar had come, so he stayed. We met up. And if you are here, we'll meet up. Yeah, and I'll meet up over a drink. Yeah, and I'll come to we'll meet you personally. Physically भी होगा एक podcast. करते हैं. चलो, I'll let you know. ठीक है. Thanks a lot. Take care. Enjoy. It was a great show, and I hope our viewers must have also enjoyed it. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking out time from Bahrain to speaking to me at so length. It was great, Sathe. Great, Amit. Yeah, actually you have to thank me because my captain has called me twice. Okay, चलो कि भाई कि पार्टी करने चलना है ना. मुझे लगा भाई तुम क्या किस चीज में लगे हो. I can't tell him. He's an Indonesian. Oh, okay. He's an expat by chance. Okay. So, चलो then. See you. Good day. Have fun. See you, buddy. See you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
See you. Bye.